Hey, what is up guys, I'm KBHD here, and this is my Tesla Model S. I named it Phantom. This is not Apollo, which was the car I had before this one. And Apollo was great, but the lease was up, so I got into a newer Tesla Model S after it, and as soon as I got into this car, I immediately noticed there's all these little things that are different about it, which got me thinking about how Teslas change over time, and how that's the best and worst thing about them. So if you were to look at the window sticker or the registration on Phantom, it would say that it's a 2020 Tesla Model S performance. But the thing is, Tesla doesn't really do model year updates like pretty much every other car manufacturer. Instead, what they do is a steady series of slowly ongoing, constant minor changes that over time add up to a bigger difference. And when I say minor changes, I mean like really minor. So the first couple days in Phantom, I noticed a couple little things, all of which I liked, by the way. First of all, the trim around the main screen is now matte dark gray, like space gray, instead of the previous chrome. And the trim in the air vents is also now matte black instead of lighter. And then this whole front dashboard, this whole top here, is now all leather instead of before it was half leather, half Alcantara. The cover of the storage between the seats, this used to be just black plastic, now it's a carbon fiber matching the trim of the car. And then there's the seats of the car, and they change the seats all the time in Teslas if you follow this, but the new ones here, these have this motorized telescoping memory headrest that goes up or down for taller or shorter passengers. The list goes on, and I noticed all these and they're all pretty small, minor, inconsequential, who would even notice or care, but there's also been a couple medium-sized changes. So at some point between 2016 and 2019, they upgraded the computers behind that touchscreen, making the UI noticeably faster and smoother and more responsive, and supporting more features like arcade games and YouTube and Netflix that older cars like Apollo don't support. They also moved from a 2-camera setup to a 6-camera setup for the autopilot system that now supports more advanced navigate on autopilot and a dash cam feature built into the car that, again, older cars just straight up don't have. And then there are the huge changes. The major ones, these are the ones that get named. These are the ones that would probably be worthy of an actual model update like with other car manufacturers. So the newest one is the latest air suspension and drivetrain update called Raven, which literally added miles to the range of the car and changed the feel of the drive. And there's also the great front nose cone refresh in 2016, where they went from the black plastic nose cone to the new front end here, which to me looks a lot better. And also just a few weeks from that in 2016, there was the announcement of the P100D, the first time they offered a 100 kilowatt hour battery in their lineup. And it was at that point that I decided, okay, that's a major update. This is a good time to buy. You see, these constant rolling changes, whether you're a customer or the company itself, are both a good thing and a bad thing. For Tesla, it's a good strategic manufacturing decision to simplify manufacturing as much as possible, to streamline it, and often that just means removing options, simplifying everything, getting rid of SKUs that you don't ship as much. So all you really can choose as options when you custom build a Tesla Model S is performance or long range, wheel type, paint color, and then just one of 3 interior trims, then autopilot. And actually the performance versus long range, by the way, are not even a different battery size. They're just a motor and inverter difference. So they've completely eliminated all of the smaller battery sizes from their lineup. Every Tesla Model S that ships has the same battery. That is a really small number of options for a premium luxury car. But that also means the day you decide to get a Tesla, that version of the car you're getting will be the best version of the car there's ever been, probably even better than if you had bought it a month or 2 ago. Like a piece of tech. It's the best version ever, usually. But that also means that the Tesla you'd be considering getting, you're never really sure if it's about to be updated by a new medium-sized or plaid-sized update. That's just, again, the nature of buying tech. But easily the biggest, most variable thing in all of this is the software updates. These cars get a lot of software updates. In fact, since I've gotten that car, it's gotten more software updates than my phone has. And in that time, it's gotten faster, it's gotten new features, new launch control. The autopilot now recognizes and reacts to new things and shows animations differently. It's a lot. So if rule number 1 of tech is never buy a product for the promise of future updates, is Tesla breaking this rule? Well, they're trying to. because it helps them a lot for people to trust that and remember that their cars get better with software updates. I think the best example of this would be the summon feature. So in the Tesla app, there's been a summon feature, and it's been there for years. And way back at the very beginning, it was dead simple. It was just forward or backward. So basically, you could just summon the car in a straight line, forward or backward, out of tight spaces. You know, I guess kind of clutch if someone parks really close to you and you can't get in the door, so you can summon it out. Neat, but honestly, it's not much more than a party trick at the beginning. Then they start adding features. It can kind of turn a little bit. It does the mirror folding. It gets HomeLink support, so now it can sort of maneuver out of a tight driveway space every day and open and close the garage door if you want it to. But now in 2020, many updates later, there's a full-on smart summon, which will just have the car find you anywhere. Open up the app, summon the car to you, it'll find you. Okay, so technically speaking, that was a success. But in every other way, that was kind of a nightmare. I mean, the idea is there, and it makes perfect sense in an ideal world. You're at a mall, it's raining, you walk outside with all your bags, you don't want to walk through the rain, so you summon the car, it comes from the parking lot right up to the door and finds you. You never get wet, you get right into your car. But in reality, it's still kind of a work in progress. First of all, there's a limit to how far away it can smart summon. Feels like about 100, 150 yards before you're outside the circle, and it won't let you summon at all. But once you press summon, the car wakes up, and as long as you hold that button down in the app, the car will continue along this path it's drawn using GPS and imagery that it figures out that it can get to you. And it'll keep you updated on what's happening as it's following that path in the app. Now, I'm doing this in an empty parking lot to minimize risk, but even from all the times I've tried this in a half-full parking lot, in a full parking lot, Smart Summon just does not drive like a regular human driver. It drives maybe like a human, but like a 5-year-old human that can barely see above the steering wheel. So it does see signs and intersections. Usually it slows down for them, and it'll say when it is, but sometimes it doesn't. It does see pedestrians and moving objects. Again, sometimes it slows down for them, which you would hope every time it would slow down for pedestrians, but sometimes it just didn't. And that's a really weird look when this car with no driver almost runs someone over and then proceeds to drive over to you while you're standing there holding the button on your phone. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to, I'm just summoning my car to me. I didn't know it wasn't gonna stop. I could have let go of the button, but... And it just completely ignores all of the lines on the road, which I guess isn't actually that much of a problem by itself. But it makes it hard for other drivers to deal with it when it's not behaving predictably, like a normal driver would. Again, I've tried this in other active parking lots, and it has not gone well. So that all sounds pretty rough. But the upside is people are willing to test this for Tesla. They have thousands, millions of drivers and fans and enthusiastic users all over the world who are willing to test this over and over and over and over again and just keep using it anyway. And Tesla will use all of that data from all the successful and all the failed attempts to turn around and work on new software to make it better. It's an underrated competitive advantage. Tesla is a tech and software company really as much as it is a car company, and it's the reason their cars feel more high-tech than the rest. And as you know, it's very, very rare that a car improves over time. We know about car collectors trying to find cars that will appreciate in value. But usually when you get a car, you drive it off the lot, and just over time, it slowly gets worse and worse until it's too old and it's time to replace it. When you get a Tesla, the way they want you to think about it is you get the car, and it does get older, but it gets software update. Maybe you get the new Cheetah launch mode stance, and then it's getting older and older, but then new autopilot update. and it's getting older and older, but then a new software update and it gets faster, and it just doesn't, it's supposed to feel like you end up with a better car later after you bought it. No wonder Elon keeps tweeting about the price of self-driving going up over time and how much its value is to the actual car and that it's underpriced. It's one of the most valuable options in any car in the world. It's software. Tesla's stance, I'm sure if you asked them, would be please buy Autopilot. Even if you don't think you need it, just buy it and eventually maybe try it once or twice, use it, fall in love with it, and then start putting hundreds and thousands of miles in so that the entire fleet can be learned from, and all this data can go back to Tesla and they can learn from it and they can push a software update and make it even better. And you know what? Maybe that's not such a bad thing for the car world. Maybe cars should be like pieces of tech and attempt to get better over time. Just a thought. Maybe in the comment section, let me know what you think. That's been it. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.